Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I was trying to make a video earlier, but sorry, my daughter was crying, so I had to get off the live. So I'm back. This time I'm going to do this as a premiere, so I can see your chats, I can see your questions, but I just wanted to make sure that I was able to say everything I wanted to say with no distractions. So if you don't already know who I am, I'm Nubian Princess. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my premiere live. I need to be able to be going live once in a while because I cannot do videos and edit and all that because it's a lot to do with a 4-month-old. So I'm just going to go ahead and do what I can do, which is pop on here, give you guys a quick update, and pop right back off. So that way I don't have to edit anything. So the story that I was trying to tell earlier was, oh, if you don't already have my channel liked, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that alert button, that bell, so that way you know whenever I pop on, so that way you can join me. A lot of the lives are going to be public when I'm on the live, but once I get off the live, it's going to go into the membership only. So if you're one of those people that don't like to watch the live while the live is going on and you want to watch it later on, you do have to get you a membership. The membership is $2.99 to be a Nubian friend and $4.99 to be a Nubian family, which is like you get, more perks. So anyways, going back to the original video that I was trying to make. I was trying to make a video talking about my journey as far as my delivery. So I'm going to start from when I checked into the hospital, kind of go through what happened when I gave birth and how I was supposed to get induced, but I ended up getting a C-section. So if you don't know what induce means or induction means, it's basically where they do medication or give you some type of pill that will make you so-called go into labor faster. So a lot of times babies like to stay in the stomach longer than they're supposed to be. Sometimes they will induce you if you are high risk. I was high risk because of my age, and I also had high BP. And yeah, so because I was high risk, they went ahead and scheduled an induction for me at my 38 weeks. So I got scheduled to go into the hospital, and I want to say October 4th or 5th. Well, it might have been 6. I don't remember. But it was before the baby was born. Sorry. It was October 10th. Yeah. It was October 10th that she was scheduled to be born. October 10th. I know that for a fact because I was like thinking 10-10. So I scheduled my induction for that day, and what happens is they check you in the day before. So the hospital called me on October the 9th, and they were like, oh, we're running a little bit behind, but we wanted you to check in by 6 p.m. But we're going to go ahead and ask for you to come 2 hours later because we're running behind, on cleaning the room and stuff. I said, no problem. So I'm not going to rush them to clean the room. They got to do what they got to do. So I came in at 8 p.m. And when I came in, I went to the front desk. The lady got all my information. I spent like 30 minutes at the desk with her. She was asking me questions. Then she printed out a badge. She put the badge on me. And then she asked me, do I have any visitors? And I said, yes, my mother is here with me. Then she gave me a visitor's badge for my mother. So after that, I go into my room. But yeah, they take me to the actual labor and delivery room. I thought they were going to take me to like a different room before that, but they took me straight to the room, and the room was huge. It was like really big. I have a picture and a video that I put up before on it. I'm going to go ahead and try to insert that in here, but it was huge. And so once they took me into that room, me and my mom, we got settled. They even had like a pull-out bed for my mom where she could lay down. And so like the couch turned into a bed, or sorry, they had a couch that was like a one of those what do you call those sectionals where you can lay back. But then they also had a cot that they could bring inside the room if you wanted a family member to sleep. So I told them to bring the cot, and they brought the cot and they gave it to my mom. And my mom was happy. It was not like a regular cot that they have in the military. It was like an actual like bed. So the bed kind of pulled out and my mom was able to lay down. So my mom laid there. And so the first day that I, came in, they hooked me up to the monitor. They were monitoring the baby and everything. Everything was going well. So they gave me the Pitocin, right, to try to induce the baby. They said they were going to give it to me every 4 hours to make sure that my cervix was getting thinner. Because what they're trying to do is trying to get the cervix to get thinner and also start opening up so that we can get to 10 meters dilated. So they gave me the first Pitocin, whatever it's called, Pitocin. I know I'm saying it wrong. The first 4 hours. She came back. She checked my cervix. Nothing happened. She was like, your cervix is still very hard. And then she gave me another Pitocin. 4 hours again went by. She came back, checked my cervix. Nothing. No dilation, nothing. Like I was barely half an inch. Like she could barely put one finger in there. She gave me another Pitocin. So this went on for like a day, over 24 hours. So the doctor was like, yeah, it doesn't look like you're going to give birth before I get off of shift. So, if nothing happens, we're going to go ahead and maybe do a C-section. So he's already talking about a C-section 24 hours into delivery. And I told him, I said, well, I don't want to do a C-section if I don't have to. So he's like, yeah, I know, but let's just weigh our options. He said, we have 3 options. We can keep trying the Pitocin, but we can start over. Like, instead of like keep going with the Pitocin, we're going to start over. So you're going to wait. You're going to eat, because I wasn't eating when I was taking the Pitocin. So he's like, you're going to eat. And then after 8 hours, then we're going to start over again. And I said, okay, let's do that, because I don't want to do a C-section. So we did that. I ate. 8 hours later, we started over again. Now, mind you, my mom is still here with me. But during that 8 hours when I was eating, she went back to the house, to shower and get settled and just kind of get herself together before she came back. So I told her not to come back until I call her, because I didn't want her to come back until I know for sure I was going into labor. So when they gave me the Pitocin and started it over again, so now we're on day 2, mind you. So they gave me the Pitocin, they started over again. Every 4 hours, they would check my cervix every 4 hours. Now, my cervix barely dilated half of an inch. And at this point, I was getting tired. I was still going through contractions. Just because my cervix wasn't dilated, I was still contracting. So because I was still contracting, they went ahead and it suggested that I get a balloon catheter put inside of me. So the balloon catheter, sorry you guys, I'm trying to work. I'm about to get started right now. So the balloon catheter was a catheter or a balloon that they put inside to help dilate you. Now, if anybody has not told you about this balloon, for anybody that's ever gotten induced and had to use that balloon to get your cervix to open, y'all, that is the worst pain ever in life. Like, once that balloon went inside of me and then they inflated it, oh my gosh, I was in pain. I think this is when my body and everything started going downhill. My cramps were like 100 times more as far as the pain goes. So before I could handle the cramps without needing pain meds, but once the balloon went inside, my contractions shot up to the roof. Like, it was so painful. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It felt like someone was inside of me with an axe or a shovel, and they were digging inside my guts and twisting my intestine, like just twisting everything. Like, it was a lot of pain. So I tried to bear the pain, and around the time I got lucky, because my cousin, who's an anesthesiologist, texted me. He was like, how's it going? You were on my mind, and I decided to check on you. And I was like, oh my gosh, Ani, I'm in so much pain. And I could barely text when I text him that. So my cousin was like, I'm going to call you in a little bit. So he called me just like he promised. And he was like, what are you doing? Why are you in pain? You need to get epidural. And I was like, well, I thought the epidural was what, when you start giving birth. He said, no, as long as you are in pain, as soon as you start feeling contractions that you can't handle it, you can get epidural. I didn't know that. So as soon as he told me that, I told the nurse, I said, can you please call the anesthesia? I need epidural. So they got the doctor down. The doctor was in my room in about 15 minutes. At first, they told me it was going to be a delay, but the doctor got there as soon as possible. Now, the anesthesiologist was a very sweet man. I think my baby is woken up. My baby has woken up. Y'all, this always happens. As soon as I log in to start working, she wakes up. I think she's woken up. But let me go ahead and finish the story. So the anesthesiologist was like a really, really nice guy. So he comes in. So he's talking to me. He's all peppy. He's all happy. I'm in pain, so I can't really engage. But I'm trying to answer his questions. He asked me, do I have any allergies? He's like, blah, blah, blah. So he's explaining the method of the epidural. He explains it to me so well. But because of what I saw in the video, I was expecting a lot of pain. And I told the nurse and I told him, I said, the only thing I'm going to ask him to do is please don't show me the needle. So the nurse told him that, because if I see the needle, I'm going to pass out. And I'm going to be like, it's like a mind thing. I'm going to automatically just start hurting. And the needle is not even close to me because I don't like shots. I don't like needles. So anyways, she told the doctor was like, okay, no problem. So he comes over there and he is, sorry guys, let me get started. He comes over there and he is going behind my back or whatever, and he's like trying to see where he's gonna put the epidural in my back or in my spine. So he finds the location, and so he now tells me, okay, I'm ready to get started. And so he's like, okay, I'm gonna need you to sit like Chinese style on the bed and face the other side and just kind of bend your spine so that way I can get to it. I don't know why, you guys, but I started freaking out. I started hyperventilating. I had a panic attack. Like, I was crying. I was like, I couldn't breathe. I was just freaking out. And guess what? All that noise that I was making, the nurse came over there. She was like, is it okay if I touch you? Can I hold you? She was like, it's going to be okay. I promise it's going to be okay. She was holding me so close. Mind you, my mom's not there. I'm by myself. So she was holding me and she was consoling me. She's like, it's going to be okay. I promise. The nurse was so sweet. I wish I know her name. She looks like she was like a Barbara or something, but she was so sweet. But she held me through it. Do you guys know that when he got done with the epidural, that was the least painful experience out of everything? The contractions were worse. The pain that I felt after, everything was worse. The epidural was the easiest thing that I could have done. And that was the one that I was not looking forward to and I was scared about the most. So please do not believe everything you see on social media. I'm not saying that these videos out here are not informative. They are informative, but please don't believe everything that everybody puts out here. Everybody's pain tolerance is different. Everybody's experience is different. Every doctor is different. This doctor that I had was the best doctor when it came to epidural. I did not feel him going inside my spine at all. Like, when he got done and said, I'm done, I didn't know he was even started to begin with. Like, I was so surprised. I was like, you're done? And I was like, what? In my head, I felt so stupid. I was like, what was I crying about? What was I having a panic attack about? It was so easy. So easy. Once he put the epidural in my back, he left. Like, he did everything like 10, 15 minutes, but it felt like forever. Once he put the epidural in my back and he pressed the epidural medication, y'all, whatever pain I was feeling from that balloon, the amount of pain, excruciating pain I was in, disappeared. Like, nothing. I wasn't feeling nothing. Like, epidural is a lifesaver. I wasn't feeling nothing. I was not in pain. Now, Mind you, the balloon is still inside of me. It's still working. It's still enlarging my cervix. Right now, my cervix, they've been checking it. It went from 3 centimeters to like almost 5. We got to 5, and it looks like once it gets to 5, the balloon drops. So the balloon expands to 5 centimeters so that when your cervix gets to 5, it just kind of falls out. So I could feel the balloon just kind of falling out of my cervix. It was so cool. So once it fell out, I was like, I told the nurse, I was like, I think the balloon fell out. And then once it fell out, they now came and they were like, okay. I forgot if they if they broke my water before that or after. I want to say it was after. So the doctor came in, broke my water. That wasn't paid for either. So when she broke my water, they were like, thinking, okay, now that we got the balloon to expand you to 5 centimeters, this is now on the third day. We're on the third day. So mind you, the first doctor that I had, which was my doctor that was with me throughout my prenatal appointments, he was suggesting C-section. But I had another doctor who came in and said, I think she was like the leader of the OBGYN doctors or crew. She was like the head person. But she said that she's not going to force me to do a C-section, and she's going to be patient with me and stay as long as my body can handle it. So I was so happy. So once she broke my water after I was 5 centimeters dilated, she was like, okay, let's see what happens next. So I was supposed to keep dilating. My body did not keep dilating. I was like, okay. I was still contracting, but now, guess what, guys? I have the epidural. They've broken my water, and I was still having contractions. But the contractions, I wasn't feeling them. I wasn't in pain, nothing. But guess what? My body, I guess from the epidural, I guess the epidural is cold. I don't know. Either way, I started shivering. I started having the shakes. Like, I was shaking so bad, you guys, that I couldn't talk. I was like, I was just shaking. My mom was like, what's wrong? Are you okay? I wasn't in pain, but I was just shaking and I was cold. I was just shaking nonstop. So the nurse said that this was a sign of me having a fever. So she checked my temperature, and she said that she noticed that my temperature is slowly rising and that she was worried because she doesn't want the baby to get a fever. So the shakes was like a sign of a fever. So she checked the baby's heart rate. She said the baby's heart rate is going up and down, but it's still normal. So she said she was going to let the doctor know, and whatever the doctor decides, but she was like, it's probably going to be a C-section now because we don't want the baby to get sick now that the mother has a fever, which is me. So she gave me a heads up. So she came back and told me that the doctor does want to do a C-section. So they prepped me for a C-section, and I was already open. Now, mind you, I didn't have a certain way. I wasn't insisting that I must push. No, I told them that I'm open. I'm going to start off with trying to push. If something happens to where I can't push or have it naturally, then when I say naturally, I'm talking about pushing, vaginal, but if I couldn't have it through my vagina, I was gonna, sorry, TMI, I was gonna get a C-section. So I couldn't push, I couldn't get induced, and it wasn't working. I had a fever, and so I decided to do the C-section because the doctor said that it's gonna help for the baby. So they prepped me, and literally, from the time that they told me and my mom that they were gonna, by then my mom was come back. So my mom was seeing me shake. So by the time they told me and my mom that I was gonna have a C-section, it took them 8 minutes, 6 minutes tops for me to get ready. They pushed me into the surgery or C-section, the surgery room, hall, whatever you call it. And when I went into the hall, just imagine like a room that's like all white, kind of like a bathroom, but it's not a bathroom. It's like a surgery hall. There was like, people in there. There was about maybe 4 nurses in there, and then the doctor and I came and joined us, and I think the doctor had an assistant because the doctor was on my left side and the assistant was on the right, and I want to say it was another doctor, but I just knew the one doctor that was taking care of me on my left. So the doctor came in, she's like, hi, how are you? I know that you're shaking, and I know that we got to get this baby out of you because you might have a fever, so just don't worry, I got you, just relax. So as I was, laying on the bed waiting, they were prepping me. They put like a curtain in the front where you can't see where they're cutting your stomach. So this was covered with the curtain. The doctor was like, by the curtain, and the other one was in the front. So they were just talking, like, it was just like a casual day for them. It felt like they were like at lunch having a conversation. And I was just laying there. And there was a nurse behind me that was just kind of making sure everything is okay. And she was pressing the epidural, like she just kept pumping more epidural inside of me. And I was just like, isn't that why I was shaking in the first place? Like, why do you keep pumping more medication? But I wasn't complaining. So they pumped me full of medication and epidural to the point where I didn't feel the doctor cutting me. I just, it just felt like somebody was doing this on my skin, like barely. I could feel nothing. It was so numb. I was so happy. So she was there for about 10, 15 minutes, cutting, talking, cutting, talking. So after about 10 minutes, I will say that I felt when the baby got pulled out, because she was like, okay, we see her, we see the baby. And then she did something to where I could feel the baby come, and the baby kind of came out like, I didn't feel like pain. I just felt like I heard. So the baby now came out after I heard that. And when the baby came out, they were like, oh my God, look at her. She's so cute. So all the nurses in there, by then there's like 6 nurses in there, like a total of like maybe 8 or 10 people. So they're in there, and I couldn't hear the baby cry. I was like, I don't hear her crying. I was like, is she crying? They're like, oh. And then when I heard her cry, she was like, like barely crying. It was so soft. And then they were like, oh, don't worry. You don't hear her crying now, but you're going to hear her crying by the time you get home. They were not wrong. My baby has lungs. She didn't have lungs when she was first born, but she has lungs. So when they finally got her cleaned up, because one of my requests was, please don't bring the baby to me after you clean the baby. I know that sounds superficial, but I don't do well with blood. So I wanted them to clean the baby up and then bring the baby and put the baby on my chest. So they were so nice. The nurses were like, can somebody take a picture of this? Like, they just felt bad that I couldn't see what was going on. So I had my nurse that was taking care of me in my room take the picture with her iPhone, and then she now transferred it to me via what do you call it? You know how when iPhone to iPhone you can transfer pics. So she did that with me. So she took a picture. They took a picture of them weighing the baby. The baby weighed 5 pounds 10 ounces. My baby girl weighed 5 pounds 10 ounces. She was so cute. Yeah, my baby's crying. Hold on. She weighed 5 pounds 10 ounces. I'll be back. Hold on, guys. Yeah. Okay, guys. Sorry. I knew she was going to wake up. I was trying to make this video before she woke up. So, she weighed 5 pounds 10 ounces. And I was able to see her. Then they brought her, after they cleaned her up, they brought her by me. Mind you, the curtain is still up. And the doctor is still working on me. So right now, the doctor's trying to stitch me back up and everything. So they brought the baby close to my face when I was lying down, put her right here, and they were like, oh, look at your baby. So that's when I saw her. So literally it was like 10 or 15 minutes before I saw the baby. Like 10 minutes. It took 10 minutes for them to show me the baby. I was so anxious. I was like, can I see my baby? I was just lying there like, can I see? They were like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. Her eyes, her nose. I'm like, can I see my baby? They're talking about how cute she is, but I haven't seen her. So when I finally saw her, I was like, just like I imagined. I knew she was going to look like her dad. I knew she was going to look just like her father. So I was so happy that she was born. She had all her toes, all her fingers. She was very healthy. She didn't get a fever. They tested her to make sure she didn't get the fever. She didn't get the fever. She was fine. Then after giving birth as far as C-section. After the surgery, they stitched me back up. Doctor now took me back into, sorry, not the doctor, the team now took me back into the room that I was in, and that's where I saw my mom. Now, mind you, after you have the C-section from the theater, they put the baby back on you, on your body. It's kind of like the baby's laying on your stomach area or chest, and then they carry or wheel you and the baby as you're still lying down. They wheel you guys back into the room, the labor and delivery room. So they wheeled me back into the room, and when I got into the room, it was so cute. My mom was there. My mom was like so excited. She was like, "Let me see the baby." And then she came over there and she looked at me. She was like, "Oh my God." So then I called my husband. Obviously, I couldn't take my husband because he was on FaceTime. I couldn't take him into the theater because I was so worried about what was going to happen. So, but next time, I'm going to ask them if I can keep the FaceTime on and just keep it on me. And so that way well, next time, hopefully he'll be here. There won't be a next time. But if you're going to do FaceTime, most hospitals will say no because the medical team doesn't want to be on camera. But just let them know that, the person that you have maybe is, far away, and you just want the camera to be on you, just looking at you. So that way both of you can experience the birth together. The medical personnel faces don't have to be there. You can blur their faces out. So, but I always told the people that were taking care of me, hey, I'm recording, or hey, my husband is on FaceTime. Is that okay? And they were like, yeah, that's fine. Sometimes they would talk to them. They'd be like, hi, how you doing, sir? So anyways, so yeah, so baby Bella was born on October 12th. Mind you, I was in the hospital for 3 days. 3 long days before I started having the shakes, and that's when they decided to do the C-section. So she was born October 12th, 2024 at 4 a.m. Exactly 4 a.m. Not 4:01, not 4:02. At 4 a.m. is when I heard it from the C-section. So I'm so happy. So she's here with us now, and I'm taking care of her, and it has definitely been a journey. So the next video I'm gonna make is gonna be on what happened postpartum after baby Bella got here, from the time I left the hospital. Very interesting. Stay tuned, because I have some gist to tell you guys about what happens after you bring the baby home. It's a lot. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope this was able to explain what happened as far as my labor and delivery and how it went from getting induced to a C-section. If you have any questions, make sure you leave it in the comment section, and I will definitely answer it. If you like the video, make sure you press the thumbs up. If you dislike it, make sure you press the thumbs down. Either way, it doesn't matter. I just need you to engage. And then if you want to see this video after it has premiered, make sure you get you a membership, and it's $2.99 for Nubian Friend, and $4.99 for Nubian Family. So I have to go now, but I'll be back with the next part, which is what happened after I took the baby home. So bye.